hear me. So my name is João Malva. I'm coordinator of the Changing Excellence Hub project. So Changing is just a joint project between hub in Central Portugal and a hub in Heraklion in Greece. Hello there. Why I am here, because I was invited and because Derek found possible synergies between the Excellence Hub Changing, which is focused on promoting healthy lifestyles supported by Mediterranean diet culture, and with the InnoThyroGen Excellence Hub, which is focused also on health-related issues related with thyroid hormone dysfunction, thyroid-related diseases, including also cancer. So I would introduce very briefly InnoThyroGen. So it's actually the project on innovating thyroid health and genomics and predictive algorithms through collaborative excellence in Excellence Hub. So the aim is to support the formation of excellence community, also increase awareness of, and support of InnoThyroGen, and also catalyze here new collaborations. This is exactly why I am moderating also this session, and disseminate best practices and lessons learned from elaborating the InnoThyroGen proposal and executing the InnoThyroGen project. So I will not go through the nature of InnoThyroGen, because this is actually the objective of Nicolina presentation. So we have today Nicolina Plajic. Sorry if my pronunciation was too terrible, but anyway, so Nicolina, I give the floor to you, so please proceed. Many thanks.
Thank you, João. Your pronunciation was exactly correct, so thank you very much. I will proceed with sharing my screen, and just a second, so that you can see my, can you confirm that you see my presentation? Wonderful. So thank you again, João, for introducing me. We are very happy to be joining the EH community, and thank you also, Derek, and everyone else from the Solar Hub, Excellence Hub project, for inviting us to this community. We are very happy to present what we are doing in our project, and we are hoping that with this will, support new collaborations between our projects, and that we will all have some kind of benefit from this webinar. A little bit about me. My name is Nicolina Plajic, as you already heard. I have a background in mathematics, but I do have a PhD in biomedicine, so I have been working in biomedicine for the past few years. Here I'll try to briefly present what is the main idea and what are the main results up to now in our project InnoThyroGen. Excuse me if I use the name InnoThyroGen, because I use it every day and we mention it every day a few times, more than a few times. So it's kind of like the Croatian version of the name. So that's just easier for me. The project is based in Croatia and in Serbia. So we are trying to connect the two excellence hubs in Croatia and Serbia, and I'll tell more about that briefly. Just a second. So the motivation for the project was based on thyroid diseases. And why thyroid diseases? Because they are very common in the population. They affect a very large number of people, and especially women. I'm sure that all of you know at least one person who is affected by thyroid diseases. And they are difficult to manage in a way that they require therapy that you have to take every day, especially if you have certain kinds of diseases or you don't have a functioning thyroid gland. And these therapies often do not work equally effectively for all patients. And this treatment requires constant dose adjustments and regular checkups. It also depends on your age, on your BMI, on the season, on a lot of factors. So it's a very difficult therapy to keep in place and keep the patients feeling the best that they can. So these therapies also can have some side effects that interfere with patients' daily life, and sometimes patients can feel dizzy or they can feel tired, and a lot of symptoms can surface up. So it's a really a big problem in the general population, and we're trying to investigate what are the factors that are affecting all of this, and how can we help the patients with our basic research and our also clinical research. We are striving to develop new and more precise approaches to this treatment, basically developing personalized medicine. So we want to tailor these treatments to every patient that is dealing with this kind of thyroid disease. To do that, of course, we have to connect many different areas of science, and it's really an interdisciplinary approach to this, and I'll tell more about that, and that's basically the core idea of InnoThyroGen. But how it all started, it was not just a spur of a moment. Here at the University of Split School of Medicine, which is my institution, we have been working on in research on thyroid health for many years. We are using a very valuable resource that we have here at the faculty, which is the biobank of Croatian participants. It's called 10,001 Dalmatians, and it collected data of 5,000 Croatian participants who were healthy controls, but they have a vast amount of data based on phenotypic measures, for example, their BMI, height, weight, every kind of measure that you can do in biochemistry and so on. And they also have their genotype data. So we do have high computing platforms or servers where we can access these genotype data. And this biobank has been the core infrastructure, core resource that we are using for all of our investigations in thyroid health. Of course, the biobank is used also for many other kinds of diseases, because it's not only limited to thyroid diseases. So stemming from this resource and from this infrastructure, which was initiated in 2009, as you can see, so it's pretty, let's say, old in terms of genotype data, old infrastructure, but it has provided us with so much, and so many studies have spurred out from this research that it was really invaluable for us. As regards to our team at the University of Split School of Medicine, we have been doing research in thyroid health, as I said, for several years, and I just wanted to highlight the research that will maybe be interested for Joao and the Changing Project, because we are also investigating the impact of the food groups, of dietary patterns, of the nutrition and the Mediterranean diet also as well, on thyroid gland activity, thyroid health, thyroid hormone levels, calcitonin levels, everything that we have in our database. We can correlate it with the food groups that we also have on the patients. As I said before, the 5,000 participants have a detailed data, and they all filled out a food frequency questionnaire that has around 56 food items, and the frequency of how often do people consume these items. So this is the resource that we use when we want to investigate the food and the influence of diet on the thyroid health. These are just some publications from our core team here at the School of Medicine. We also investigate the effect of environmental factors on thyroid health and the thyroid gland activity, including all kinds of factors, both in diet and nutrition, and also maybe from pesticides and other things that you can be exposed to in the real life. Another thing that we also investigated is the some kind of, let's say, causal relationship between thyroid function and metabolic syndrome, because it has been observed in clinical practice that these two states often occur together. So if you are, for example, if you have hypothyroidism, you can often observe that the same patients also have metabolic syndrome. So we modeled the causal relationship between these two phenotypes, and we actually found that they are causally connected. We used a special kind of analysis called Mendelian randomization that relies on genetic data for inferring causal relationships between two phenotypes. But that's not all. Of course, we investigated the effect of vitamin D on thyroid, because we also have measures of vitamin D for our patients. So that is for our participants, because they are healthy controls. And we also causally modeled this relationship, and we also found that vitamin D can affect thyroid function causally. So if we want to influence the level of vitamin D in our participants, maybe we can change the effects on the function of thyroid gland. So it was a really important finding for us. Other than that, we're not just doing phenotypic studies, we are also doing genotypic studies. So we do perform genome-wide association studies of various thyroid parameters, be it thyroid globulin plasma levels, or thyroid stimulating hormone, or other thyroid hormones and antibodies. And we're also using the insights from publicly available genomic data sets to infer the genes that were marked as significant in our GWASs to see how they're, for example, here influencing thyroid cancers. These are just some of the papers that I wanted to highlight. So we're combining both the environment and the genetics, because thyroid diseases are complex diseases. They are not influenced just by genetics. They are a complex disease stemming from both the influence of environment and the genetic background. So we're trying to, put a number to this. We want to put a number to how much is your genetic background causing you to have thyroid disease, and what can you do to mitigate this risk by changing your lifestyle, maybe changing your diet and changing the way you, do physical activity, for example. It's a very vast area of research, and we are having a large team of people who are doing this research, and we are interdisciplinary teams. So as I said before, I'm applying the mathematical models to this. I also have colleagues who are medical doctors, who are molecular biologists, and so on. So we are trying to connect all of our knowledge into one piece of research that will, produce valuable results for us. So that was our background, and all of these previous research was financed through national calls, usually through grants given by the Croatian Science Foundation. And we decided to use all of this background that we have and all of this work that we have performed before to apply for an Excellence Hub call. So we applied in March 2024. If I remember correctly. It was a very hectic day because we submitted the proposal 1 minute before the deadline. The deadline was at 5 p.m. And we got a score of 14 of 15, and we were funded right away after 3 months, as you may know, when we got the evaluation. So the total grant amount is a little bit less than 5 million euros. And we have 30 partners from 2 countries, so from Croatia and Serbia, and trying to connect these 2 countries to collaborate through 2 excellence hubs that will be focusing on personalized medicine in thyroid disorders. The project started on 1st of January of this year, so currently we are at the 11th month of our project, so we are pretty new, or we are pretty fresh. And we have a lot of things to do in front of us, but I think we have around 70 contributors, that is participants involved in this project from these various partners, and we are doing a lot. I feel like every week we do something major, major breakthrough. So everything is happening very fast, and I tried to put everything that we have done up till now into this presentation. I'm hoping that it's not going to be too long, but I just want to highlight what do we have up until now and what is the future ambition of our InnoThyroGen project. The main objective is to, as I said before, to connect the 2 ecosystems in Croatia and Serbia, and we want to modernize the diagnostic approaches to thyroid disease, and we want to transfer them into clinical practice. So the idea is not only to perform basic research, we also want to construct something, which I'll describe later, that we want to transfer into clinical practice, which will directly benefit people who are affected by thyroid diseases. These two ecosystems are then going through this project, be transformed into centers of excellence or excellence hubs, and we will try to construct a joint R&I strategy for our research within this project and for our future research. Once that we have connected, we also want to continue to collaborate beyond this project. So we want to focus on personalized diagnostics. And as you all may know, the Excellence Hubs requires that you have a quadruple helix within your consortium in both of the countries, or more if you have more. So we want to connect the academic, public, business, and social sectors through our project. Let's say the workflow of our project and the main ideas that we want to, in this phase, investigate is that we want to evaluate the research gap and the barriers for performing excellent science in widening countries like Croatia and Serbia. And I think this is very important because we do have one deliverable that is focusing on identifying the gaps to performing excellent research. And then we have another deliverable that will focus on plans to mitigate these gaps and risks and try to perform really excellent science in these countries. It's not that we don't have people for it. We have excellent people, excellent scientists doing these research, but sometimes we don't have enough funds, sometimes we don't have enough infrastructure, and these are the things that we want to highlight with our first work package and our first set of deliverables. Then we want to, parallel to that, we want to collect the samples for our new biobank that we are forming within this project, and we want to perform various kinds of analysis that I will go into detail shortly. And after that, we want to construct a genetic test that we will be testing in real-life environment. So we want to directly influence the clinical practice that is related to managing thyroid diseases and thyroid therapy. Also, through doing all of this, we want to communicate and disseminate our project to as wide as audience as we can. Of course, we want to get through the patients, the civil society, people who are affected by thyroid diseases, people who maybe have a family member affected by a thyroid disease, people who are doing basic research, people who are doing clinical research, representatives of NGOs, and so on. So we have a very strong communication and dissemination agenda, and I'll talk about that more at the end of the presentation. The consortium, as I said, brings together 13 partners. We have 6 public institutions, we have 5 private companies or SMEs, and we have 2 non-governmental organizations or NGOs. And they all come from 2 countries. Those are Croatia and Serbia. And you can see the core team or core group here at the kickoff meeting that was held in February of this year in Split, of course. This hotel is also 5 minutes from the beach. So unfortunately, in February, you cannot go swimming in the sea in Croatia, but either way, it was a very nice event where we all gathered together and met in person, because usually we were talking through, Zoom calls up until this point. But from February and from this kickoff meeting, we have continued to collaborate intensively, and you will see the results that we have achieved up till now. This is just the geographical distribution of our consortium. So we have in Serbia 4 partners, which are fulfilling the condition that we have a quadruple helix in each of the countries participating. So we have the institute, we have the governmental representative, we have an NGO, and we have an SME in bioinformatics. I will go into detail about these partners shortly. And in Croatia, we have a little bit more partners. We have our Faculty of Medicine, we have Faculty of Science, we have the University Hospital here in Split, we have an SME focusing on programming and developing our application, we have a bioinformatics Informatics SME, which is Labena. We also have a private clinic, which is specialized in thyroid diseases. That's the Polyclinic Leptir that you can see on the top, which is our main point of contact with patients other than University Hospital Split. We also have an NGO representing thyroid disease patients, and we have our Teaching Institute for Public Health, and we also have an SME leading our dissemination and communication activities, that is Conistra. But I will go into details about all of these partners shortly. So we are neighbors, as you can see in the image, and as you may already know, and we're trying to collaborate as closely as we can, but for now I think everything is going very well. As I already said, and we had a little bit of a chat before we started this webinar, the University of Split School of Medicine is the coordinating institution of this project. That's my institution. I'm the main coordinator of the project. As you can see on the image in the far back, the sea is a 5-minute walk from our faculty. So sometimes it's a bit hard to focus on work, but luckily our offices are not facing the seaside. So through my window, I'm not right now looking at the sea, so I'm trying to pretend that it's not there. But it's a great location, and everyone wants to come here to Split, and it's great for us because then we have a huge interest whenever we are organizing something, which is very important. Our faculty has been a partner in Horizon Europe projects for several years, but actually InnoThyroGen is the first Horizon project that is actually coordinated by a faculty at the University of Split. So we are the first-time coordinators. It was quite a shock for our science office when we received the news that we got funded, but I think everything is going very well for now. After we got the evaluation results, we got another coordinating Horizon Europe project at the faculty. So I think we have more experience now, and opening the door for other research groups also to apply as coordinators and also as partners to Horizon Europe calls. As I said, in Serbia, we have a quadruple helix, and the main partner in Serbia is the Institute of Molecular Genetics and Genetic Engineering at the University of Belgrade. They are our scientific partners who are, let's say, coordinators within their excellence hubs in Serbia. With the Institute, we also have the Office for Information Technologies and E-Government based in Belgrade. That's our governmental representative. It's part of the Serbian government. We also have the Forum of Patients of Serbia, which is our NGO, who are doing great work with communicating the project to their audiences, especially to people who are affected by thyroid diseases. And we also have Persida Bio, which is a bioinformatic company, SME, who are doing very, very great work in applied bioinformatics. As for the Croatian ecosystem, it's a bit larger, but as I said before, University of Split School of Medicine, that's my institution. We have University of Split's Faculty of Science. We also have University Hospital of Split, which is a large hospital to which around 1 million people are gravitating. So it's a great source of participants if you are performing a medical study. And it's a great strength to have the University of Hospital of Split in our consortium. We also have the Teaching Institute of Public Health in our Split Dalmatia County as a representative of a governmental organization. They are responsible for everything related to public health in our county. So their presence in the consortium is also very important to communicate the everything that we do in the project to the larger audience in our county. And we also have the Croatian Association for Thyroid Diseases based in Zagreb, who are specialized in thyroid diseases and are the first contact to people who are affected by thyroid diseases, and are very important for us to communicate both the opportunities and the results of our project and what are we doing in this project within the Horizon Europe program. As I said before, we also have SMEs. We have 4 SMEs in Croatia. That's the Leptir Polyclinic based in Zagreb. So we are having a contact point with patients both in Split through the University Hospital and both in Zagreb through the Polyclinic Leptir, who are our main focal point of contact with the patients and will be the point where we will introduce our genetic testing in the later phases of the project. We have Konistra, who are doing excellent work by performing the DNC activities. We have Labena, also a bioinformatic firm from Zagreb, so kind of complementary with Persida from Serbia. And we also have Sharp Agency, who are doing all of the digital work for our project. You will see later on, everything is digitalized, and we have an app for collecting the data, and that's all the merit of Sharp Agency. The InnoThyroGen project, as I said before, lasts for 4 years, but we have 8 interrelated subphases. So it is a coordination and supporting action, but we put a heavy emphasis on basic research, so we have a lot of work to do. So what we want to do in this first phase is to collect samples of 500 patients diagnosed with thyroid dysfunctions through the University Hospital of Split and Polyclinic Leptir, half-half. So for each of the patients, we want to collect or large amount of data. Then after we collect the samples, we want to perform the whole genome sequencing of their DNA isolated from their blood. The whole genome sequencing will be performed at the institute in Belgrade because they are experts in that. While we are doing all of this, and the plan is to collect all of the participants in the first 2 years of the project, we want to perform the, let's say, preparational methodology analysis that we can right now. We want to calculate the polygenic risk score for thyroid diseases using publicly available data. We also want to perform pheno-wide association studies of genetic liability for thyroid disorders with up to 100 phenotypic traits. We want to also develop the web-based application, but that's the last part of the project. When we finish with the pheno-wide association study, we actually go to the phase 5, which is the Mendelian randomization. As you saw before, we have some papers on that methodology. So we want to causally model the relationship between various environmental factors and thyroid diseases so that we can be sure of the causal effect of these factors. We also want to construct and validate a machine learning model for predicting the integrated risks for thyroid disorders. What does it mean, the integrated risks? So we don't want to only predict your risk for thyroid diseases only from your genetic information. We also want to include environmental information. So if we want to combine polygenic risk score with environmental information, we have to use machine learning, and that's in the last phases of the project. Once we do the machine learning phase, we also want to perform pharmacogenomic studies, which will be done by the Institute in Belgrade, to see how your genetics influence your response to thyroid therapy, because this is also something that is an interesting area of research. And once we have performed all of this, we want to develop the software that can be tested in the Leptir Polyclinic. Basically, if you suspect that you maybe are developing a thyroid disease, you want to check how much is your genetic liability for this. You can come to Polyclinic Leptir. We will take a sample of your blood, ideally, and we will calculate the polygenic risk score, put it into the machine learning model based on the environmental factors that you have filled out in some kind of short survey, and we can come back to you with genetic counseling on how much is your genetic liability for developing a thyroid disease, and what can you do to mitigate this risk, and what can you change with your diet and your lifestyle. And through these phases, the project has to progress from a technology readiness level 2 to technology readiness level 6, which is a very high technology readiness level. But as we will be testing this software within the relevant environment in the Leptir Polyclinic, I believe we will be able to fulfill this goal of the project. since we are dealing with human participants, our project officer and the European Commission have made it mandatory for us to name an ethical advisor. So we have a professor from Greece who is our ethical advisor, and we have spent a lot of time to make sure that all of the sample collections and everything that we do later on is ethically valid. So when people come to the clinic, they all sign informed consent forms in 2 copies. They keep one where the whole research is described, and what is planned to be done with their samples is also detailedly described. And the study has been approved by the Ethics Committee of University Hospital Center Split, of our Faculty of Medicine, and also by the Ethics Committee of the Institute in Belgrade. And we are taking every precaution to conduct the research in line with the General Data Protection Regulations. So we have a lot of legal background to performing this research, but we have also legal advisors who are helping us with drafting all of these documents that we have to have. When the patients come to the hospital or the Leptir Polyclinic, after they sign the informed consent form, they fill out the InnoThyroGen questionnaire, which is designed to collect data on our participants, and it's not done on paper, it's done using tablets. So we have constructed the questionnaire, of course, in MS Word, but our partner Sharp Agency has digitalized it, so when the patients come to participate in the research, they are given a tablet and they can click on to answer the questions that we need. So this enables the standardized and digitalized data entry, which is directly connected to the database here at the Faculty of Medicine, and at every point we as the administrators at the core research team can see if there are some errors with the data or something has to be checked, and we can directly use the data that we have collected. It also has built-in validation checks, so there's no skipping questions. All of the more than 250 questions have to be answered if you want to submit the questionnaire. And the idea is that while people are waiting for their examination, I think they need 10 to 15 minutes to fill out this questionnaire, so it's not logistically, it's not too much of a burden. After that, we are anonymizing our data. Each participant is assigned a unique project identifier, both for the data and for the samples of blood. And we keep this in a secure place, and only the few members of the coordinating institutions have access to the keys that are linking the names of the participants to their project identifiers. And we are very, very, very cautious about data reliability and security within this project. As for you can see an image of an examination with our Dr. Shkaro, who is a specialist. After the patients fill out this questionnaire, as I said before, it has more than 250 variables on demographic data, family and personal medical history, comorbidities, the current therapy, adherence to therapy, symptoms, subjective complaints, lifestyle habits, and the old food frequency questionnaire with 56 food items also as well. And as the last thing in the questionnaire, a subjective perception of thyroid disease, so that we can see how are patients living with their thyroid disease and is it affecting their everyday life. When they enter the examination room, they are greeted by doctors. Here it was Dr. Shkaro from Leptir Polyclinic, and here you can see on the far right Dr. Ica Berdar, who is Dr. Berdar, who is leading the patient recruitment in University Hospital of Split. The examination is also standardized, so the physicians also fill out a questionnaire on their computers. So this makes it easier for us to have structured reports of their thyroid ultrasound diagnostics, where we have various variables, for example, dimensions of lobes, homogeneity of the tissue, vascularization, presence of nodules, response to therapy, and also results of hormone tests, which are very comprehensive. So everything is digitalized, everything is structurized, so it makes it easier for us later on, and me as a mathematician and statistician, to analyze the data that we have collected. As for the laboratory parameters, before the patients come into the clinic, they go to another laboratory where their sample of blood is taken, and the third-party firm or company is making these measurements for us, and we measure everything that you can measure, almost everything that you can measure for thyroid function, including thyroid stimulating hormone, FT4, TT4, FT3, TT3, thyroglobulin, antibodies, and we are trying to combine all of this data using programming languages and descriptive analysis. And at this point, as of today, I think we have 150 participants with full data. So we were able already to perform some kind of preliminary analysis of our cohort of our InnoThyroGen biobank. You can see here our collaborator from the Faculty of Science performing some kind of analysis within the project. That was it for the let's say the scientific background of the project. We are also working very hard on communicating and disseminating the project to as much as a wider audience as we can. On April 14 of this year, we had a public event here at the University of Split where we formally presented the project to the wide audience and the citizens of Split. And we have various high esteemed speakers, our dean, our vice rector, who came to support our project here at the University of Split. And we use this opportunity to also combine it with a panel dedicated to thyroid diseases, where we invited people who were interested to participate in the project to come to ask questions if they have any kinds of questions related to their conditions. So the other part of the event was a panel where, as I mentioned before, our specialists, Dr. Skaro and Dr. Berdar, have been answering the concrete questions that people may have. So usually when you go to a checkup or to an examination, the doctors are, as you all may know, very busy, and they only have a limited time that they can talk to you, and sometimes people feel that that's not enough. They want to have more time to talk about their condition, especially if it's affecting their everyday lives. So we took this opportunity to invite people and to give them an hour and a half to ask anything that they want to ask specialists about their thyroid disease, and it was a huge success. We had a very lively discussion, and we also used this opportunity to construct a flyer. It is in Croatian, but it's basically an invitation to participate in the research. So in order to collect these 500 participants, we, disseminated this project as far as we could, and we invited people who have a confirmed diagnosis of any kind of hyperthyroidism, and other diseases of the thyroid to participate in the research. And in return, they will be getting a free laboratory parameters, the sample of their hormones and results of their hormone measurements. And they will also getting a free ultrasound and examination by a specialist. So we had a huge interest based on this flyer here. The QR code led to a Google form, which received more than 460 applications. You can also see my phone number in my office, and I received more than 100 calls from people interested to participate. And we also received more than 100 applications through our project email. So the goal was to collect 500 participants, but we had a much larger larger interest of people to participate in a scientific research, which is very, very good. Usually it's very hard to collect this number of participants. That was in Split. Parallelly to that, in Belgrade, our colleagues from all of the representatives from all of the 4 partners in Serbia have held a panel on personalized medicine in Serbia, which was also a great success, and all of them held a different presentation to the general audience, and they had a great panel discussion, which also raised a lot of interest in applying personalized medicine tools and software and tests to thyroid diseases, and this was also a great success from their side. As for the World Thyroid Day, which was on 25th of May this year, we had our representatives both in Belgrade in Serbia and both in Zagreb in Croatia, so we were present at both events of World Thyroid Day. That was in May. The thing that I want to highlight is our Summer School of Bioinformatics that was held this September, so the first week of September in 2025, here in Split at the Mediterranean Institute for Life Sciences, which is a wonderful venue for holding summer schools, especially in summer, because it's based right on the coast. So it's basically a 0-minute walk to the beach. And we had 36 participants who were very interested in this school. I think we had around 50 applications, so we had to turn people down, and we rounded it up to 36 because that was the maximum amount of chairs that we could have in this room, as you can see on the image. But the people are still interested in taking part in our summer schools. So we have the next summer school planned in September of 2026 in Belgrade. So maybe they can come then to our second summer school. And we also have a third summer school in the 3rd year of the project. Here you can see students and mentors of the first InnoThyroGen's summer school taking a photo together. And you can see a lecture that was held at the summer school. The summer school lasted for 5 days, and each of the day was a full day of lectures and workshops. It was really intense. So the first day we covered Python basics and use of AI in coding. Our colleagues from Persida covered the basics of Python programming, and our colleagues from Sharp Agency explained how you can use AI in your coding. Then on the second day, we had hands-on Python workshop, natural language processing and large language models, also held by our colleagues from Persida, which is a bioinfo company from Serbia. This was also very interesting day, and the participants were very eager to get to know these kinds of analysis. On day 3, we focused on genomics data analysis and Linux training, because Linux is essential in performing these kinds of analysis. So we had our colleagues from the Institute in Belgrade talking about genomic workflows, Linux basics, mapping raw reads, worry and calling, and all other things that come with genomics data analysis. Then on day 4, we had an introduction to pharmacogenomics tools and practical applications, also from our colleagues from the Institute and also from the governmental representative in Belgrade. And we had covered the population pharmacogenomics, Stargazel tool, FarmCat tool, and all the other tools that can be used if you want to perform a pharmacogenomic study. On the last day, we covered the topics of variant annotation and all the other things that you can do in future if you want to continue working in bioinformatics. This was done by our colleagues from Labena, also from the Institute in Belgrade. And we wrapped up the summer school, and we received a very, very good feedback from the participants. And I think we were all very happy with how the summer school turned out. We placed it in Split, of course, because it was the first week of September, so you could still go to the beach after you are done with the lectures and the workshops. And the idea is to have the team from Split organize the logistics, and have the team from Serbia cover the the topics and the lectures and the workshops. For the next summer school in Belgrade, the team from Belgrade will cover the logistics, and we from Split and Zagreb will be coming there to talk about the topics that we are, let's say, experts in. Other than, oh yeah, we do also have a nice video of summer school, so I'll just play it a second so that we can see how it looked. Oh, sorry. That was it from the video. Many thanks to our partner Conistra, who are doing the DC activities, who created this very nice video. Other than sharing our knowledge with the participants outside of our consortium, we also have a strong knowledge exchange within the project by organizing different kinds of webinars, workshops and seminars. Until today, we had a webinar on performing systematic reviews that gained a lot of interest. You can see the image on the bottom left. In the center image, you can see an image from webinars that our colleagues from Persida are doing for other members of the consortium that are not very well acquainted with, the Python, containers, Docker, and everything else that you need to know when working on Linux and analyzing bioinformatic data. And on the bottom right, you can see a webinar that was held by a colleague from Faculty of Science on calculating the polygenic risk score, which was also very an interesting webinar that we are doing. So we're trying to share the knowledge that we have within the consortium between us and also outside of the consortium, so that we can all benefit from our gained knowledge up to today. Other than knowledge exchange, this past month, our colleagues from Serbia were present at the AI for Life Biotech Future Forum, which was actually organized by OITE, who are our governmental representative within the consortium in Serbia, and was a great large event based on the future of biotech in Belgrade. And our colleague Branka Zukic from Institute in Belgrade held a presentation where she also presented our InnoThyroGen project. You can see that the colleagues had a nice stand presenting our project to the wider audience at the Biotech Future Forum. We also were present at the 4th National Oncology Forum in October, also this year, where our colleagues from the NGO in Serbia, the Patients Forum of Patients of Serbia, were presenting InnoThyroGen at the 4th National Oncology Forum, especially focusing on oncologies in thyroid disorders, that is thyroid cancers. We are also already present at scientific conferences with our preliminary results from the biobank that we have collected up till now. So you can see a snippet from a conference in Varaždin, Croatia, from a conference in the Bosnia and Herzegovina. You can also see a snippet from our National Information Day of the European Innovation Council, where I held a presentation and also introduced the InnoThyroGen project. We also were present at the conference in Šibenik in Croatia in September this year, where our colleagues from the Faculty of Medicine and the University Hospital Split have presented the first results from our biobank based on the first 50 participants that we have collected. It was a great success. We had a poster presentation and 2 oral presentations already held in September 2025. We were also present at the networking events in Düsseldorf this year in March, where we tried to, get new acquaintances and new partners, maybe for future applications to Horizon Europe projects. And we are also present on TV and radio. Unfortunately, I don't have images from our presentations at the radio, but I do have images at presenting at our local TV in Dalmatia in Split on the left, and also colleagues from Serbia were present at their national TVs. So it was a great success to present the InnoThyroGen project at the national TV channels in Serbia. And that was mainly it for the communication. There were other events that I just haven't had the time to cover because a lot of things is happening in the project, and I'm very happy for it. But I hope these are just the most important highlights. Not saying that the other events are not equally important. What is our future ambition, and what is our ambition within this community is to communicate our opportunities and results to as wide an audience as we can. We want to disseminate our results across the European research area, and we also want to foster new collaborations with other age projects, which will hopefully result in joint applications to Horizon Europe calls, either in WIDERA, European Innovation Council, or Health Cluster. Everything works for us. We want to present what we have, what we can do, and what resources we have. So maybe you can recognize us as a valuable partner within your consortium, or we can recognize you as a valuable partner in our consortium. And that will be it from me. Thank you for your attention. And these are just our social pages and our website. We also have an mailing list, and we have our official mail of the project, and you can contact us through whatever way you want to hear through our social media and our web page. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nikolina, for this very nice overview of your new baby project, because you are really starting. So we are a bit in an advanced state changing. So we start in the first round of Excellence Up, but it's very nice to see how new projects start. And so we can recap a bit on our own, I would say, phases of developing Excellence Up community. And by the way, many thanks to Derek for this effort in building a strong Excellence Up community, because I really think that this is very, very important. So I would like at this stage to start a Q&A session, a discussion about Nikolina's presentation. So we have probably a short time because the presentation was a bit long. But anyway, Derek, you flagged me when we should close. So I will open the session to our colleagues' questions. So in the participants. So if someone wants to raise the hand, please do it. Otherwise, I have a lot of questions and suggestions. And so I will start. At any time, please raise your hand, and then we move to you. So Nikolina, I really found very interesting your project. So it's a bit different from our own concept, because we have a strong focus on fundamental research, but not as much as you. So you clearly have a very strong commitment with the fundamental research. But I would like to just ask you, along, the different work packages. So, but very briefly, how do you focus on advanced teaching? So I also found your summer school on bioinformatics very clear. But do you have also plans to involve and recruit, for instance, PhD students, to involve new PhD students in research? So also in terms of just profiting from the Excellence Hub to attract brains and retain brains, so to somehow instigate the institutions and renew the institutions. So this is one topic. The other topic is related with the technology transfer readiness levels and how the research and the business cases really match there. So I understand that there is also a strong focus on startups and SMEs on the bioinformatics area, but also the biomeds tech is involved there. So could you address this?
Sure. Thank you very much, João. And apologies for the long presentation. I really tried to fit everything in 35 minutes, but it's a lot of things to cover.
It's very interesting, so don't apologize.
For your first question, actually, yeah, it's nice that you asked. Actually, today we are publishing a tender for a new postdoc position here at our university that will be 100% work on the project. And in the next year, we will open another one. We are also involving students who are here studying medicine. We have a few of them interested to collaborate in the project, either in the scientific work or in the laboratory work. We also have a student from the King's College in London who will be visiting us in March of 2026 for her, let's say, MSc research study, which will also be based within our project and also within our consortium partners who are universities. We do have people who are PhD students, who are postdocs, who are professors, who are working on the project. So it's a wide range of people doing research here. And also in our private companies, we also have young people working there as well. For your second question, it is a very, very ambitious goal to reach a technology readiness level of 6. And we try to, do as much as we can computationally in the first 2 years of the project. And then we want to have the prepared model by the end of the year 3, when we will be able to digitalize it and test it in the Leptir Polyclinic. And it's a great thing to have Leptir Polyclinic, which is a private polyclinic in the consortium, because we don't have as much as restraints as to testing something new there as we would have in the university hospital. So it's a great area to test something like genetic tests. Genetic tests are already present in the clinics, just not for thyroid disorders. So this is something that is a scientific novelty for us and also for the general population. And we will try to, do our best to construct a model that will be as accurate as possible. And hopefully it will gain its interest from the wider audiences.
Thank you, Nicolina. Actually, I have 3 questions from the scientific questions/suggestions from the scientific angle, and also a challenge to Derek, which also relates with you and with the community. So, starting, I really found very interesting your approach on the biobank and on collecting, data related with, genomics and also with behaviors. So actually, this is interesting because in our own Excellence Hub, so this can eventually lead to some synergies. We develop an healthy lifestyle assessment toolkit, so a multidimensional and interdisciplinary toolkit addressing 8 different dimensions of health and well-being, moving, from, for instance, physical exercise, anthropometric measurements, food habits, quality of sleep, social cohesion, well-being, etc. So, which is both a combination of surveys, but also technologies to extract data for people. So, using innovative technologies, and we collect this information. Obviously, then we provide a report to people in terms of adhering to healthy lifestyles. The objective is to promote health across the lifespan, so avoid disease. So this is for prevention. So at a certain point, your collected information about lifestyles could also, benefit from this narrative, and this is something, a way that we potentially can further meet one of these days to discuss along these topics, because in fact it is also related with my second question challenge, which is related with your data relates, genomics and the lifestyles, but I miss important topic that you can obviously doesn't jeopardize your approach for sure, but it's a suggestion for you to think about the implications, because we now more and more understand that the health outcomes is just not an output combining genomics with, I would say, lifestyles or exposure, or but we need to take in account, for instance, the exposome. So how we are exposed to pesticides, to pollutants, with the gut microbiota. And the gut microbiota, dysbiosis, the inflammatory cocktail that can occur inside our gut, can be really a trigger to, I would say, potentiate our own genes for health or disease outcomes. So in my reading, if you could add, obviously it's not trivial, but this is something that you can foresee. If we could also add some data related with gut microbiota, with the microbiome, this would be probably an important addition to your own research, because it can eventually support the prediction, because you are talking, working on prediction. So this is, I don't know if you want to comment, but if so,
definitely,
please.
I agree. I think this will be something as an idea for a new project. Obviously,
Sure.
we are limited within this one, but gut microbiota is really an interesting area of research, and we have been, a little bit communicating with it. We haven't included it in this project just for the sake of the width of the data that we already are collecting within InnoThyroGen, but for some future applications, it will definitely be an interesting area of research, especially for the predictions.
No, absolutely, because you can see that the first impact of, I would say, the exposome, the pollutants within our body, if through food or water, it's the gut microbiota before reaching our own cells. So we reach our host, the microbes before reaching our own cell. So I also have the challenge to Derek, which would be, we could create, and through the Excellence Hub community, an extra activity, which I would call it a twinning knowledge exchange. So because we need to promote synergies between Excellence Hubs, and when, for instance, this case, we have clearly synergies that we can foresee between changing and InnoThyroGen. So we should promote somehow a workshop in Croatia that we can go there and discuss changing, and you can come with your team to Coimbra at one, and really, these webinars can be just the trigger for a real action on site, let's say this way. So do you see this well, Derek?
I completely agree.
And this can be an output of actually the Excellence community.
Yes, this is one of my ambitions. So, yes.
So let's make this happen, Nicolina.
Sure. We will welcome you all here in Split.
And then the same for you here in Coimbra. Perfect. So at this point, I don't know if colleagues want to raise questions or comments or challenges. So we have Hande, sorry by your, I cannot pronounce yet, Erimaz.
Yes, yes,
Not
indeed. No worries, no worries, dear
ended.
Joe.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Dear Nicolette, no, it was a great presentation, and I do like your logo in reference to the anatomy of the thyroid gland in itself, which is quite nice as well, and the colors used as well. Maybe to give some context, how did you select the country of collaboration? I mean, currently you have Croatia and Serbia collaborating. Was it the homogeneity of like the data set that you would expect, or the heterogeneity that you would have? What was the main aspect in this regard, in regard to finding a correct community to work with? And in regard to the implementation, it is quite different in regard to the context, as you have structured the quadruple helix actors to work together for the implementation. Do you expect to expand this, let's say, collaboration, or keep it as it is in regard to the different quadruple helix representatives that are there? I was wondering if there were, let's say, SMEs that were advocating for personal health in this regard in maybe 2 countries, and what their approach is in regard to support of your project and your efforts. And thank you again, and congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Hande. For your first question, actually, the choice of the collaborating country was, let's say, incidental. We have a colleague here, Andrea, who had a connection with the colleagues from the Institute in Belgrade, and we met at the summer school in 2023. So we knew each other, and when we were starting to write the proposal, they just came as the best fit for, the experience in the whole genome sequencing, which they will be performing in-house, and also for the all related bioinformatic analysis that come within the project, and also the pharmacogenomic studies that we are trying to do here. After we selected the institute in Belgrade, we just let them choose the other partners in Serbia, because we have full confidence in that they will do it well, and they did. We have a great quadruple helix in Serbia and great partners over there. And that was basically it. We didn't really have any preferences based on the country. We just wanted to collaborate with the people who we thought would be the best to collaborate with. And up until now, it has shown to be actually like that. And for your other question, based on the SMEs maybe here in Croatia and Serbia who are also working in the field of personalized medicine, as far as we know, there are not many of them. And we do have some kind of companies that are providing genetic tests in the, let's say, clinics or direct to consumer. But basically, they are just, acting as representatives of companies outside of Croatia and Serbia. So it's not something that is truly based in Croatia and Serbia. They're just, distributing these tests that are coming from other countries. So in that aspect and the aspect of the methodological aspects of genetic testing that we need, we kept the, the SMEs just to the companies that have experience with the bioinformatics, because we want to do in the first 2 years of the project all of the methodology of a genetic test. So we have to have people who have experience with Linux coding and so on. As you can see in the presentations, we do have SMEs who are very experienced in that. So that's something that we really need also as researchers from our universities. We are not very experienced in some kind of aspects of this analysis, so they are here to help us, and we can share knowledge between us. But it will actually be very nice to maybe in the later stages of the project to include a company that, or an SME that has experience with genetic tests also and genetic consulting, because once we calculate the genetic risk and also the integrated risk, you cannot just return it to the patient as a single number. You have to follow it with the genetic counseling. But we do have planned some kind of collaboration, maybe with some kind of companies who have experience in this. And then we also have a planned collaboration with our specialists in the University Hospital of Split, who are actually working in this field of clinics. So they will be able to guide us on the the genetic counseling that has to accompany the numbers that we are going to return to our first patients.
Thank you so much, and best of luck in the journey ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anda. Thank you. So, other questions, suggestions? So, Derek, should we close this session?
Yes, I would like to thank you, Val, for the very good moderation. I appreciate also, Nicolina. It's very interesting to hear about your project, and the enthusiasm is really, really nice to see. In the chat, I just shared the registration link for next week's webinar, which is the Food, Energy, Water Ecosystem Nexus. And so as I wrote below this, as Nicolina and I spoke before this webinar started, I had this emerging idea in my mind that maybe we can expand this to include health and well-being. And so we had a joint EH event in Ioannina in Greece last summer, where we went to an energy community where they were co-locating solar PV with a garden area for elderly people. And so they were growing their food. Obviously, it was Mediterranean diet. If it was healthy, they would get the exercise by working in the garden. And so this co-location at the community level, I thought was really, really interesting. I don't know exactly where this idea could go, but I think it's a seed I'll throw out there, and maybe it's something that we can work on. So I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. And again, hope to see you at a webinar next week. So thank you. Bye.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Bye-bye. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.